What have you been reading lately?
I'm reading the last novel of Kiran Desai.
Oh,
But just
the
right
new one.
reading, but yeah, but I'm reading a lot of other stuff also, basically on the Desh Bhag, the partition of India, but on this side,
Hmm.
because I have a plan to do a trilogy on that.
Hmm.
So because one of my films got a development fund from Hubert Bals,
Yeah, yeah. Very
which
recent.
very recently, in the last Hubert Bals, that was basically based on the partition of Bengal in 1947. And but I have a plan to do a prequel to that before this. So I'm actually prepping that film right now. So my recent readings are mostly on the research documents, the archives, the oral history. So I'm reading on them mostly.
So, is your reading generally centered around what you work on?
Yeah, mostly, but I always combine. I will kind of it's not like I don't get boxed in one kind of reading.
Hmm.
So while I'm doing research, which is very intense and a very intense process, but at the same time, I want to read novels which are coming out.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
kind of writing. So I actually kind of parallelly do this. So, but mostly, predominantly, I try to focus on the project I'm doing mostly.
So, in some of your previous interviews, you have spoken about how today's generation, we read a lot, we watch a lot of things, but it's a little haphazard and it's
Yeah.
not very disciplined.
Hmm.
So, if you could talk about how, if not now, but maybe when you were younger,
Yeah.
how did you practice this discipline, or how can one practice this
Mm.
discipline?
No, actually, what I would say, my childhood was quite, you know, was have different, a huge spectrum of my childhood. I
Yeah.
was born and brought up in a Mafsal town in Howrah, Shibpur,
Yeah.
and then my background in theater, and my entire youth has gone watching Manmohan Desai films,
Hmm.
right, Amitabh Bachchan films, and then I got introduced to the alternative films. Like my father took me to watch Cosin Steve's Hamlet.
Hmm.
That. So I was kind of in both the worlds
Yeah.
continuously, while father is doing these plays, Marit Shangha, Jagannath, the iconic plays of Indian theatre. I was part and not part of them in the green rooms, watching other actors prepare. The show is happening, traveling to the villages. So all this happening, and then slowly, but what happens, I can see the book rack of my father, what kind of books
Yeah.
he reads. And so I think that was the kind of, and then when I started going to Jadavpur University, but that was much later. um, so my department was very different from any other academic departments. The syllabus and everything, the teachers, and the kind of knowledge they impart, which is not only based on a certain syllabus, but it's a lot of reading.
Yeah.
But when I started reading, suppose Kafka, or at the same time Madhusudhan,
Yeah.
right, at the same time going on. So uh, my teachers used to say that it is you if you want to know Kafka's world, you have to go into his. It is not only what is there in the syllabus. We have only one novel in the syllabus. So, but we have been continuously encouraged or pushed to read other novels, even his diaries,
Hmm.
right, his letters.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. And the same thing, about other authors. So that kind of gave me that it is not only the one text we are reading, which we have to answer in the answer paper. So, so we start reading different materials. Even sometimes maybe a quote in a writer's author's book. That quote will lead to read an article written by Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of led to an organized reading. So that what taught us. Even in theater, when I was in 1991, went to US for a training in
Yeah.
theater. At the same time, the first reading material we were given was Letters to Theo,
Hmm.
Van Gogh.
Van.
Right. So it is to understand it is nothing. So I was asking our teachers that why this thing is given. So look, this is just to understand an artist's anguish. right? The artist's passion to get something done. So it is not about only about getting trained in a way, but also how to organize your training for a particular purpose. If you want to be an actor, if you want to be a director, you want to be a playwright, whatever you want to do, uh, or a filmmaker. So I think that was very important. Today we have a lot of materials, which is just there around, lying around us. So we have access to a lot of materials. So that access is sometimes, making us disorganized. We have to have too much access, too many options. Too many options sometimes kills the real knowledge, because you are kind of hovering, going from one end of one spectrum to another spectrum, right? And that kind of make at the formative years, you cannot do that so randomly. You have to focus and organize your reading, even watching. Like today, the watching material, if you see the kind of
Incredible. Yeah.
OTTs and other stuff, everything is so much. So I think that even watching films is a very important discipline,
Yeah.
right? And then it's not about telling that you watch one kind of films, but whatever you watch, you want to get that go to the deep, depth of that, um, knowledge. Even you're watching Hollywood or even Bollywood, whatever, even the avant-garde, French avant-garde, or whatever,
Yeah.
auto films. But whatever you do is important to organize your
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah. So, in your initial years, you were mostly acting. So, how did you get into directing for the stage and for the screen?
The first interest of any youngster, I think, still now, is to be an actor, to
Hmm.
be on stage,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
To put on your makeup, put on your costumes, watched by people, and only thing that the actors gets the most prominence in terms of attention. So I think as a youngster, when I was 14, 15, I want to be an actor. But slowly that changed for a lot of reasons. Once I thought that I don't have certain qualities which is intrinsic to the actor's art.
Hmm.
It's something which is deep. You can understand that the actor has certain quality which is so deep, which is so internal, and which is um, which is very subconscious in that way. And also the my certain things in my, like my voice. I was never happy with my voice. It is not that you have to be a baritone an actor, but a voice has a certain range. uh, but I was not very. So I slowly thought that this is not my actual area of expertise. So I want to get something where I will really flourish. I don't have. So I thought of taking, working as a director. Then slowly and slowly, I tried to understand the art of the director, the job of the director, and that kind of forced me or compelled me to go to different parts of the world or even parts of India to learn more about direction and the work of the director. And as if you are, the question which I always ask, that filmmaker
Yeah.
is a later thought or not,
Hmm.
but it's not, because I was very beginning, I was very much interested in
Interested
the
in
films,
films.
yeah.
Yeah.
But because I had direct access to theater,
Yeah.
because I'm from a theater family,
Yeah.
so I kind of randomly got that entry into the back door, to the back door to the stage. I have access to uh, other directors, the green rooms. So I just automatically, kind of went into onto the stage. But filmmaking was always a passion for me. I was watching films
Yeah.
throughout, and I think that what really moved me is the when the International Film Festival happened in Calcutta,
Oh, okay.
when Ilmaj Gune retrospective,
Okay.
Godard retrospective, Yancho retrospective happened, and I came to watch all the films
Yeah.
because I got that card in my lying on the table,
Yeah.
and that made me, very curious, and got introduced to different kind of films. And then, of course, little later, the Boonwell retrospective, which happened in Shorola Memorial Hall, which is just opposite PG.
Yeah.
They have stopped screening films
Yeah.
now, but There are two important theaters where they used to screen all these European masterpieces. One is the ice skating rink,
Yep.
and one is the Shorole Memorial
Okay.
Hall.
Okay.
And those are the two places I was a frequenter, those two places, and watched all kind of films. They brought amazing films. The Film Society movement was alive very much that time. And yeah, so that kind of forced me, and my comparative literature department, the teachers I got from Manobendra Bandyopadhyay, Shivaji Bandyopadhyay, but many of them,
Yeah.
right, to
Yeah.
tell,
Yeah.
to say. So that kind of forced me, or kind of mentored me to become what I did throughout my life. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Today, when you come across a text, how do you know whether it's going to be a film or a play?
Right, so there is no given, you know, quick answer for that,
Yeah.
ready answer. But sometimes you read novels, you read stories for your own, liking. Like I'm reading a
Kiran
novel right
Desai.
now, Kiran Desai.
Yeah.
It is not that I'm intent to make a film out of that.
Yeah.
While reading something, maybe a story, something triggers, and you feel it, as a theater maker, which I do continuously, theater making and filmmaking. So you feel that this can be, I can see this on stage,
Hmm.
maybe one moment, right?
Hmm.
And if it stays with you for a long time, it churns inside you, a story leaves inside you.
Hmm.
It never leaves, if it's really touched you, really you're kind of uh, felt something very important in that story,
Yeah.
something which really moved you, which you want to share with others through the idiom of theater or film, it stays with you. At once upon a time, it really, comes out of you.
Yeah.
So that time you sit down and trying to figure it out, that should I write it down as a script or write it
Hmm.
down as a play,
Hmm.
or even a play if I want to adapt it or translate it. So I think that hunch, which is a strange hunch, which you get, at a while reading something, and you put it aside, and then it starts coming back to you
Hmm.
in your subconsciously. It starts coming back to you,
Hmm.
and then when it never leaves you, then you know that this is one thing which I would like to do,
Yeah.
which is like to do. And then maybe the many stories, when half written screenplays, many plays which I plan to do, which never happened,
Hmm.
right? But they became a part of my existence at
Yeah.
one point of time. And like for the specific Herbert I read in 1992 or 93,
Hmm.
um, during my masters.
Hmm.
Just I completed masters, and then the film happened in 2006.
Hmm.
But the film Herbert as a novel, as kept, like people ask me that when I made this play called Tista Pader
Great.
Brittanto from Debesh Ray's
Yeah.
novel, it's a very big novel.
Yeah.
Many people have unable to complete the novel itself,
Yeah. Hmm.
but I made a play out of
Hmm.
that. So people thought that Tista Pader is mostly cinematic material,
Yeah.
right? So why you thought of theater?
Hmm.
I don't have a ready-made answer for that,
Hmm.
because if I try to articulate something logically to this, then it will be, all false talking.
Hmm.
So I would rather say that I saw Tistapar as a play.
Hmm.
I saw the movement, the character Bagharu, or the landscape of North Bengal, the doors, everything. I saw it on stage. I saw some images, and that I never thought of making a movie, a film out of
Hmm.
Tistapara Brittantu. But Herbert, the very beginning, I still remember when I first writing the first 2 pages of Herbert, which never got into the film. It was a very random writing. I mean, just writing, sharing with some very close friends that, look, the first 2 pages I wrote, the script, but that never came back to the real screenplay.
Hmm.
But remember, that was 1995, 1996.
Yeah.
I'm writing first 2 pages of first 2 pages.
Yeah.
But that kind of I configured later. That was a part of a process.
Yeah.
The alchemy, the
Yeah.
chemistry which works within you,
Hmm.
and it stays alive
Hmm.
within you.
Hmm. So you work a lot with adaptations.
Mhm.
When the author of the text is alive and accessible, like Debesh Ray for Tista
Right,
Bare
right,
Brittanto
right.
or Nabarun Bhattacharya for Kangal
Mhm,
Malshat or
mhm,
Herbert,
mhm.
versus when it's someone like Tagore or Manik
Right,
Bandyopadhyay,
right.
does your writing process change or does it get affected consciously or subconsciously that your interpretation of the text has to align with the
Yeah,
what the
that's
author
an
intended?
interesting question,
Yeah.
of course. But it is better to work with a living author
Okay.
than somebody like Tagore or Manik, because people have fixed ideas about them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If the author stands by you, it's by fine,
Yeah.
that okay. Like Nabarunda stood by me or Debesh Ray stood by me. But there were many stories around that. But doing Tagore in Bengal is a very difficult,
Yeah.
because of everybody have an individual Tagore, right?
Yes. Yes.
Their interpretation of
Yeah.
Tagore. And I think we should come out of that, slowly. Uh, because this is maybe a controversial comment, as because we are not doing something really great nowadays as Bengalis, as a Bengal culture, I think we are more and more trying to grapple and hold on to our cultural past.
Hmm.
So, I think that we should have transcended that,
Yeah.
right? That I think that this fixation with the interpretation of Tagore or Manik Bandyopadhyay or Bibhutibhushan or Tarashankar, our great masters, I think that fixation is kind of also kills your cultural growth.
Yeah.
You know, Tagore has to be liberated from the gatekeepers
Yeah.
of Tagore,
Yeah.
right? There's some gatekeepers all around. This is what should be. So I think that our society and our culture should be, the gatekeepers should be removed. I think so.
Do you feel that like Satyajit Ray said, we have a fairly backward audience when you hear these comments about your
Now, I will not say backward audience. That was Shotid Rai, of course, speaking from his top. Now, I would say it is not about the backwardness. It is about certain kind of fixation and understanding of our own culture. Like, suppose, I think that it's also the time distance. Today, William Shakespeare, to English people, it's too far for them. They don't hold on to him.
Hmm.
Now, Shakespeare is not English. It can be anybody's, it can be Japanese Shakespeare,
Hmm.
Chinese Shakespeare. I think we are too close also, and from Tagore. We're still not out of that aura. Um, and I think that, as I said, that as because we are not doing culturally great things or we are not seeing in our cultural growth, something is there, some gap. So I think we're too much holding on to the past.
Hmm.
We have to leave away and start living with the past. That okay, that is past. And if we're interpreting Tagore today, we're interpreting Manik today, interpreting other writers today, then we have to be much more liberal. We have to keep that things open. Like I tell you, I had differences with Debesh Ray and Nabarunda also. But that remained very intellectual discourse. To tell you one anecdote from
Yes.
my interaction with Debesh Ray. When I first went to him to get the permission, he said that I will read out the play to you. I told him. He said, I will not understand the play if you read it out to me. I have to watch it.
You have
So
written about this in your
yeah,
book.
so
Yeah.
I think that I took my 50 people cast,
Hmm.
rehearsed for 8 months, and waited for this man to come and watch my rehearsal and give permission.
Hmm.
That was a great risk. He could have just said that I don't like it.
Yeah.
I will not permit you. But I took that risk. I took that challenge. But regarding Nabarunda, when I asked him that I want to do Herbert, he said, okay, but don't make a mess out of it. Don't Bangla, he said that dharash na jano. Yeah. So I think that is like dharashna can be translated that don't kind of make a bad movie out of it.
Yeah.
But I remember one day that when we were watching the first screening of Harvard, he only came one day to watch the shooting, Navarunda.
Okay.
Only one day he wanted to watch Shubhashish playing Harvard.
Okay. Okay.
That's one day he came, and then he came to the final film is done, and then I remember he just walked out. He was sitting by me, and there's the scene of Binu's death.
Yeah.
He just walked out.
Hmm. Hmm.
I thought that he might have tremendously upset, disappointed with the film, because I know that how deeply he loved that novel, and these characters are so close to him. So I was kind of frozen. I was waiting there for 5-10 minutes. Un, I cannot move from my chair. If that really disappointed Nabarun. Then I walked out, and I saw that he's smoking by the window. And when I came close to him, he was crying. And what happened? Why did you? Well, it is impossible to watch the death of Binu. He said that. And then he came back to the auditorium. So yeah. So, but I have never had any kind of dispute with any author whom I adapting, living author. Only I think Shirshendu didn't like some parts
Okay.
in my Osho,
Okay.
especially about my portrayal of the lady
Yeah.
Tuki,
Ah.
where in my adaptation of the script, I made her she is having an extramarital affair, which Shishyananda don't like.
Hmm.
He said that my Tuki is not, she cannot be
Okay.
into an extramarital relation.
Okay.
He wrote that in newspaper, but I never, after that, I never discussed that with him.
Hmm.
He gave an interview to some press journalist that it was not my Tuki, it was Shuman's Tuki.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that's it.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is
It
fine.
can
Yeah,
be your
but yeah, but he never, like, I remember the great fight. It's kind of a dispute with Arundit Din Ratri adaptation with Sunil Ganguly and and Shruti Rai. But anyway, I think that if you go to Tarkovsky's diaries, you see that he was eternally fighting with his writers. But he adapted a lot of novels,
Yes.
Tarkovsky. So if you see his diaries, there are lot of instances where he was, man, they couldn't work together because his cinematic adaptation, because authors are very, they want to, uh, that's understandable. They don't want to
Possessive
keep
about.
that possessive about the material, and when you bring them in a writing process of cinema, then it becomes a big tussle because one man is completely thinking in terms of cinematic language. The idiom is different, the vocabulary is different, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have mostly adapted, and living authors, yeah, I told you what are
Yeah.
few things.
Yeah. Because we are talking about adaptations, I am curious about one thing. The number of original plays being written in any language, is it a parameter to judge the quality or health of a particular theatre culture? Like if someone says that there are not enough Bangla plays being written today, is that even a parameter to judge how Bangla theatre is doing?
I would say yes, because playwrights are very important in a, when you are talking about a cultural development of even of a stage, then I think that it is important to also, to get playwrights, new kind of playwrights writing. That gives a sense of health to that cultural growth. When playwrights are coming up, uh, but I would not fully say that it can be judged by that only. But there are plays. But if you see that Bengal has given a lot of playwrights, but in recent times we have not seen that kind of playwriting except few of them, very few of them. In contrast, Marathi stage has given a lot of playwrights. Even the South has given a lot of new playwrights. So I would say that yes, that I think that there is something, um, is a sense of something getting rotten in the state of Denmark when we say that there dearth of playwrights. Something
So,
is there.
do you think that is attributable to something outside of the theater culture, like something happened, something macroeconomic or some geopolitical problems or something that is a
Hmm.
problem in society itself and not the theater practice that it's not
No,
being
it is. I
noted?
think that it depends on also not the entire theater community.
Hmm.
Uh, when you actually are encouraging new players, even it's not only playwrights only. If it is scenographers, music directors, uh, mm, costume designers. If you see that in the set design, the scenography. there, there not many people came after, if you, I think there is a certain kind of, one is that it is Bengali theatre is very much the actor director syndrome, which actually uh, kind of, I think, can be one of the reasons that most of the directors are mainly actors, and the directors uh, are basically looking, they are doing the main roles, they are protagonists, and they are also directing. It is mostly that, you rarely see that there are directors who are only directing, they're not acting. Maybe I would say that I am the only few of them that who was not acting at all, only directing. So I think this actor-director culture is kind of, affects other things, because they look for the roles, they look for the role they can play in the play, and that also draws people. If you from Soumya to Utpal Datta to Ajitesh to Arun Mukhopadhyay, Bibhaস চক্রবর্তী, নীলকণ্ঠ সেনগুপ্ত, Ashok Mukhopadhyay, Ashit Mukhopadhyay, name any of them from our generation, Meghnad Bhattacharya, Rama Prasad Bonik later, and then our generation, Kaushik Sen, Bratya Basu, are both. But me and Debesh, maybe Debesh Chattopadhyay, are two directors who didn't act much. I didn't act at all. Maybe after many years, I am acting in my own play, in Bhan. But it was like after 40 years, I acted in one play, but that was directed by my brother. So I was an actor only. But I have never acted in my own plays. It is like after 40 years of my practice and on stage, I finally did one play.
And you have consciously not acted
I
in your own.
consciously not acted. First, I told that I never felt that I enjoy acting that much after a certain point. After that, I consciously try to break away from the tradition that I want to only direct, only direct. So in the when I was doing Bhanu actually, because I lost that practice of being an actor and director. So what I did, I recorded all the rehearsals on video. I used to go back home and watch that video to see, because otherwise I'm lacking, because it's a question of practice also, that when you are actor and director at the same time, so you can have that practice, but I have lost that practice. So in this case, I got a cameraman to sit there and do this, and at the end of the rehearsal I will go and watch and give my notes and do my choreography. Yeah.
Um, one more thing that I'm curious about is that you have worked in projects which, in the national theatre style, are like recording of plays for broadcasting later.
Right, right.
How do you look at this practice? Do you think it's important for archival, for posterity, or does it really go against the basic ethos of theatre, the momentariness or the ephemerality of
No,
it?
that's true. It goes against the basic tenet of theater,
Yeah.
but it's a new form, new visual form. Like, I think that it is developing slowly and slowly. When I was doing this job for Z TV, called Z Theatre in Bombay, I did many plays. So I was trying to create a format which can give you the sense of the theater, but you will never get the sense of theater from that. But if you see that one National Theatre is doing, called National Theatre Live, which is really bringing a lot of energy back. They're recording a play like maybe 20 times from real performances, a huge raw stock or raw material, and the editing from that to bring that essence that it is actually taken out from 20 performances recorded live while they're performing in front of audience. From there, they're creating one long video.
But then would you call it a play or
No, it is
something
not a
else?
play.
Yeah.
It is a recorded play.
Yeah.
Of course, recorded play,
Yeah.
and it is cannot be replaced by theater. It is, of course, I would love to see that. I want to watch a performance of Ajitesh in his portrayal in Cherry Orchard, which is called Monjuri Amar Monjuri, but there was no recording. So I think that this one glimpse of that production would have been,
I would love to watch Tista Par.
Tistapar, right? Exactly. So I think that these are important work, but you will never watch it as a theater piece. It
Right.
is not. Theater is completely different because, as you said correctly, the theater lives at that moment. The art is created
Hmm.
on that particular moment when it's happening.
Hmm.
When this chemistry, this interaction between audience and actors
Yeah.
and are happening. That's important.
So, in the spirit of being
Yeah.
curious, I will also ask you. Your WhatsApp has this D.H. Lawrence quote: "Never trust the artist, trust the tale." So, where do you position yourself on the art versus artist debate?
Yeah, that's a interesting question. Of course, I think that an artist's outcome,
Yeah.
what he gives in his artistic work, is a kind of a very filtered, a very kind of a chosen, way to communicate his or her perception of the world, the the reason why I'm doing this artwork, why I'm trying to communicate this story
Hmm.
through film or theater, what is my understanding, what are my doubts, what are my positiveness, what are my melancholy. So all these things come together, and that's filtered through a kind of, that I'm filtering my thoughts to bring out into an artwork, which will carry all these, dilemmas, the certainties, uncertainties. But as a human being, it might not sometimes align with that. That's why I wanted to keep that thing. I love that quote.
Yeah.
That sometimes,
But like you were saying that
mm,
to understand Kafka, one should
mm,
read Kafka's letter.
right,
So then every artwork will have the artist's
correct.
personal.
Hmm,
Uh,
hmm, hmm.
so then, can we even separate the?
No, we cannot. It's not questionable separating the two.
Yeah.
I'm not asking that they should be separated.
Yeah.
One thing you cannot always judge an artist's
Oh.
work
Yeah.
through the personal time.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
should not be judged like that all
Yeah.
time. If it is completely different, I think it cannot be different. A good artist, a really brilliant artist, it cannot be that they're completely devoid. The two worlds are different. It's not that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying that if I say that I will not watch or read his novel or her novel because at once upon a time he or she supported some regime
Yeah.
which is against my political thoughts.
Hmm.
It's not that. I think that we should be open to that. There are artists who have gone through different phases of life,
Hmm.
compromised a little bit, who held a position which was not, maybe was forced to hold the position
Hmm.
or compelled to hold a position. I think that you should not judge an artist only through that. I
Hmm.
think that so what is coming out through his artwork is the main thing which I think we should be caring about.
Yeah.
You think of because there are a lot of discrepancies, a lot of disparities which might happen in a personal life, and
Yeah.
if you see the great artists, from
Everyone.
everyone,
Everyone.
so
Yeah.
there are disparities.
Hmm.
So I think that we should uh, uh, comprehend or understand a artwork as a pure outcome of an artist.
Yeah.
That we try to be more authentic, pure, organic in our artwork. And sometimes it doesn't go with our, you know, livelihood or living,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Your art has always been very political, be it theater or the screen. And because it is political, marginal voices keep coming up. So, how do you position yourself? Like, as we talk about positionality in academic research as well, like, is it a struggle to go deeper and try to understand the lived experience more and more? Or are you accepting of the fact that you can never fully understand the lived experience and thus this is where your position will be?
Hmm. Look, this is also part of my growth,
Hmm.
my my uh, how I brought up. Like I was from this, as I mentioned earlier, also from this Mufasal town,
Yeah.
from a group theater
Yeah.
background, where experimental theater and theater which travel around the cities, about the towns, going to deep, remote villages, doing on makeshift stages. The plays are happening in front of different kind of audience, the
Hmm.
spectrum of audience
Hmm.
which I have encountered with,
Yeah.
from in a village like where people are walking, there's no transport,
Yeah.
they're coming to watch a play,
Hmm.
which we have traveled from Kolkata, and also the same time seeing the city audience. So I think my growth, my how I was brought up, and my father's the entire group theater movement,
Yeah.
which is very close to the left movement,
Yeah.
right? The Communist Party of India, the IPTA
IPT.
movement. So all this together, I wanted or not wanted, something was kind of engrafted
Hmm.
in me, embossed within me, that consciousness
Hmm.
of the alternative voices of history,
Hmm.
the marginal voices. So I think that was part. Like if you see that when I was young, when Baba father wrote Madi Shambad, which is 1972,
Yeah.
it was about these marginal voices,
Yeah.
how they're proclaiming their agency,
Yeah.
how they're asserting
Yeah.
their position in the society. It was about that. Then Jagannath in 1977, which
Yes.
is again
Yes.
a,
Very
a
much. Yeah.
man from marginal,
Yeah.
they're coming up and
Yeah.
trying to assert. So I think those things kind of played a big role in my form kind of what I'm say um, how my brain is formatted, how I perceive the society,
Hmm.
how I read history, and then my teaching, my studies in comparative,
Hmm.
which very much focused on this, subaltern
Yeah.
literature and the political history,
Yeah.
highly influenced by Marx
Yeah.
and other leftist thinkers later. So I think that all this together has made me internally a person who is political,
Yes.
who looks in a dialectical in a matter. So dialectics is a part of my growing up also. How I thought, because the one thing I saw from my childhood, a book shining on the bookshelf is the Brecht on theatre,
Hmm.
my father's book, which he uh, kind of made him gifted by his office friends, that he said to his office friend that I cannot buy this book,
Oh.
so I'm giving some gift to my in my marriage, right?
Yeah.
So bring this book.
Yeah.
So I think that book was bought. So that was on my shelf for a long time. And Bertolt Brecht was known for his dialectical
Yes.
thinking.
Of course.
His play is highly political,
Yeah.
and talking about class consciousness, class struggles. So I think that is part of my growing up. So I could not got out of that. It is part of my.
And you have also been subjected to a lot of state censorship, and a lot has happened. Have you ever found yourself self censoring yourself because of everything that has happened to you?
As of now, no.
Yeah.
As of now, no, because I never thought of self-censoring at all, and I do things which still put me in trouble. Even now, myself is not getting theaters in Kolkata because I participated in Arjikor
Hmm.
movement.
Hmm.
So I never thought of them at all. And they were even the I was never been close to any political party.
Yeah.
They all hated me
Yeah.
throughout in any regime. So I think that but I have already come to a point of career and in life. I will not even bother even after the next whatever I have to do the next how many years I don't know I can work actively, but I will never bother about them
I
at
think
all.
it makes you very successful as an artist to be hated by every regime.
Yeah.
That's a great achievement.
Yes, because I think that look,
Yeah.
the leftist parties, they never liked me. They hated Tista Barer Brittanto.
Yeah.
They didn't like Herbert. Yeah. They didn't trust me at all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Even the contemporary regime, they didn't
Of
trust
course,
me
they
at
will
all.
not trust.
They don't trust me at all, and so I think that so I don't get theaters in Bengal, and I don't get any awards in Bengal. So all this,
Yeah.
so I think that's part of my life, and I now take it very, what I'm saying, that okay, fine, I know this, I know this, but I don't care about them. At one upon a time, I remember I get a little bit depressed or getting sad, but now it is a kind of looking at it from a very nonchalant and with a sense of humor
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
to look at these things.
Okay, last question. Now, for over the past couple of years, you have been acting. You've been coming back to stage for Dawn and for Mari Changbad as well. So, at this point in life, what does it give you? What does acting, pure acting and no direction, give you?
No, look, Mari Shongbad, I sang the Meri Baba song
Yeah.
for a long time. I used to sing and, kind of
Hmm.
not sing,
Hmm.
So when I'm available, I go and sing and
Okay.
don't. So it's kind of that. It's
Okay.
not like part of my
Okay.
regular
Hmm.
acting thing. And Dawn was one thing which happened, when I was in Bombay. I'm completely detached from theatre.
Hmm.
So when my brother approached me if I'm ready to do that, and he agreed to bring me from Bombay for rehearsals, all those budgetary and logistical issues, then I thought this is a good thing to keep in touch with theatre,
Hmm.
be on
Calcutta
stage.
Theatre.
Yeah, Calcutta theatre
Yeah.
actually, because Bombay theatre scene is very different,
Hmm.
and I was not accustomed to that world at all. I
Yeah.
have a lot of friends in Bombay, but that the culture is very different. The
Yeah.
operatives are very different.
Yeah.
So I did Dawn as an actor, and then this Bhanu is kind of, I would say it is not like that I was very keen to do that role, or I just wanted to be on stage an actor. No, it is not like that.
Hmm.
It is just that I was not getting an actor
Anyone
to
else?
do this
Okay.
play.
Okay.
So I thought, let me do this character because this is restaging of an older production which I did for USA when I
Okay.
went for a US trip
Okay.
where Anirban Bhattacharya used to play this role.
Okay.
So I have a recasting of this entire thing. Only Dev Shankar and Vidipta, they are from the old cast, but all the other casts are recast. So I think that let me try that role. And then this time I'm enjoying the character, but I will not come back to acting by that means.
Okay.
No, it is not like that. I will remain as a director. The next projects I'm planning
Do
everywhere,
talk a bit about your next.
yeah. For the theater, I don't have anything right in mind, but I've been working on this project, on this character, uh, Jogen Mondol, Borishaleর Jogen Mondol, another character lost in the history of our Dalit literature, Dalit history. Ambedkar was a great champion, but this man got lost.
Hmm.
And Debesh Ray wrote a novel on him called Borishaleর Jogen
Jogen
Mondol.
Mondol.
So I've been working on this for a long time. I want to do as a stage play. But for the films, as I mentioned before, we are
Yeah.
talking about that I have a trilogy in mind about the partition of Bengal. So I'm working a film which I might shoot this year only,
Yeah.
based on a Partho Chatterjee, the historian Partho Chatterjee's idea that I'm doing prepping now, and then the play, the film which I'm planning, which got the Hubert Bals Development Fund.
Yeah.
That's called Udbastu.
Okay.
That I'm planning maybe next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And third one is another play on that, novel on that. So I think this I have in mind, unless something else happens um, in my career, something strange which really kind of washes me away.
Hmm.
Um, I might stick to this
Hmm.
too.
Hmm. Okay. All the best
Thank you.
and thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.